everyone. Miss Diane here, or Mrs. Can. I know the kids call me all different names, as long as they're all good names. We're at the West Deptford Free Public Library for a story time. It's listed as, grades K to 4, but as I've said many, many a times, stories are fun for all ages, so I hope you enjoy today. I have a friend here. Of course, it's a puppet. It's kind of cool, isn't he? Yeah, it's a lion. And I brought him because I'm going to have a couple stories about lions. I also have books here about lions. Oh, my mask. I'm so used to wearing the mask now because we need to. But sometimes I forget I need to take it off when I'm going to do a story. Okay? So we have books here, non-fiction books, which are books about with information about lions. Of course, we have story books and things about lions, and there's probably a lot of DVD movies, lions. Of course, one famous one, well-known, well-loved, is The Lion King. But the reason I brought the lion in today is we're going to be approaching the month of March. But before we go there, I'm going to read to you a story. We're going to have two stories today. I'm going to read to you a story which I am sure, if you are kindergarten, first, second, third, fourth grade, somewhere along the line, you have heard this story. It's called Library Lion. It's by Michelle Knudsen, and the publisher is Candlewick Press. I do really like this story. That's why I thought I'd bring it out and read it to you all today. Even if you've heard it before, there are stories that I like to hear over and over again because I enjoy them so much. So I'm hoping you'll enjoy this again. One day, a lion came to the library. He walked right past the circulation desk and up into the stacks. Now, just to let you know, the stacks are all the shelving that's in the library. Mr. McBee ran down the hall to the head librarian's office. "Miss Merriweather," he called. "No running," said Miss Merriweather without looking up. But there's a lion," said Mr. McBee, "in the library." "Is he breaking any rules?" said Miss Merriweather. She was very particular about breaking rules. "Well, no," said Mr. McBee, not really." "Then leave him alone." Now the lion wandered all around the library. He sniffed the card catalog. He rubbed his head against the new book collection. Then he padded over to the story corner and went to sleep. No one was sure what to do. There weren't any rules about lions in the library. Just to let you know, card catalog. I don't know if many libraries still have a card catalog. A card catalog is a big kind of box with a whole lot of drawers in it. And it contains all of the information for all of the books that are in the library. We used to use that to go find where to go find and search for books. But now, most of the time, most libraries have the catalog on a computer, so you can look in that way. But I just want to kind of let you know what a card catalog is from a long time ago, I would say. So now our lion is asleep in the library. Oh goodness. Soon it was time for story hour, and there weren't any rules about lions at story hour either. The story lady seemed a little nervous, but she read out the first book's title in a good clear voice, and the lion looked up, and the story lady kept reading. The lion stayed for the next story and the story after that. He waited for another story, but the children began to walk away. "Story hour is over," a little girl told him. "It's time to go." The lion looked at the children. He looked at the story lady. He looked at the closed books. And then he roared very loud, "Roar!" Miss Merriweather came striding out of the office. "Who's making that noise?" she demanded. "It's the lion," said Mr. McBee. Miss Merriweather marched over to the lion. "If you can't be quiet, you will have to leave," she said with a stern voice. "Those are the rules." The lion kept roaring. He sounded sad. The little girl tugged on Miss Merriweather's dress. If he promises to be quiet, can he come back for story hour tomorrow?" The lion stopped roaring. He looked at Miss Merriweather. Miss Merriweather looked back, and then she said, "Yes, a nice quiet lion would certainly be allowed to come back to story hour tomorrow." Hooray! All the children cheered. Next day, the lion came back. "You're early," said Miss Merriweather. "Story hour isn't until 3 o'clock." But the lion did not budge. "Very well," said Miss Merriweather. "You might as well make yourself useful." So she sent him off to dust the encyclopedias until it was time for story hour. Now the next day the lion came early again, and this time Miss Merriweather asked him to lick the envelopes for the overdue notices. Soon the lion began doing things without being asked. He dusted the encyclopedias. He licked the envelopes. He let small children stand on his back to reach the books on the highest shelves. He curled up in the story corner to wait for story hour to begin. At first, the people in the library were nervous about the lion, but soon they got used to having him around. In fact, he seemed very well suited for the library. His big feet were quiet in the library on the library floor. He made a comfy backrest for the children at story hour, and he never roared at in the library anymore. "What a helpful lion," the people would say. They patted him on his soft head as he walked by. "How did we ever get along without him?" Mr. McBee scowled when he heard that. They had always gotten along before. No lions were needed. Lions, he thought, could not understand the rules. They did not belong in the library. So one day, after he had dusted all the encyclopedias and licked the envelopes and helped all the small children, the lion padded down to the hall to Miss Merriweather's office to see what else there was to do. There was still some time left before story hour. "Hello, Lion," said Miss Merriweather. "I saw something you can do. You can bring a book back to the stacks for me. Let me just get down from the shelf." Miss Merriweather stepped up onto the step stool. The book was just out of reach. Miss Merriweather stood on her toes. She stretched out her fingers and, "Oh, almost there," she said. Then Miss Merriweather stretched a little too far. "Ouch!" Miss Merriweather softly said. She did not get up. "Mr. McBee," she called after a minute. "Mr. McBee!" But Mr. McBee was at the circulation desk and he could not hear her calling. "Lion," she said, "please, please go and get Mr. McBee." So the lion ran down the hall. "No running," said Miss Merriweather, called after him. He put his big front paws up to the circulation desk and looked at Mr. McBee. "Go away, Lion," said Mr. McBee. "I'm busy." The lion whined. He pointed his nose down the hall toward Miss Merriweather's office, and Mr. McBee just ignored him. Finally, the lion did the only thing he could think of to do. He looked at Mr. McBee right in the eye. He opened his mouth very wide, and he roared the loudest roar he ever could roar in his life. Roar! Mr. McBee gasped. "You're not being quiet," he said. You're breaking the rules. Mr. McBee walked down the hall as fast as he could. The lion did not follow him. He had broken the rules, and he knew what that meant. He hung his head and he walked toward the doors. Mr. McBee did not notice. "Miss Merriweather," he called. "Miss Merriweather! Miss Merriweather! The lion broke the rules! The lion broke the rules!" He burst into Miss Merriweather's office, and she was in her chair. "Miss Merriweather," he asked. "Sometimes," Miss Merriweather said, from the floor behind her desk, "there is a good reason to break the rules even in the library. Now please call the doctor. I think I've broken my arm." Mr. McBee ran to call the doctor. "No running!" Miss Merriweather called after him. Next day, things were back to normal. Well, almost. Miss Merriweather's left arm was in a cast, and the doctor told her not to work too hard. "I have my lion to help me," said Miss Merriweather. But the lion did not come to the library that morning. At 3 o'clock, Miss Merriweather walked over to the story corner. The story lady was just about to begin a story for the children, but the lion was not there. People in the library kept looking up from their books and computer screens, hoping that they would see the familiar furry face. But the lion did not come that day. The lion did not come the next day either, or the day after that. Mr. McBee left the library, but he didn't. Sorry, page is stuck. One evening, Mr. McBee stopped by Miss Merriweather's office on his way. "Can I do anything for you before I go, Miss Merriweather?" he asked. "No, thank you," said Miss Merriweather. She was looking out the window and her voice was very quiet, even for the library. Mr. McBee frowned as he walked away. He thought there probably was something he could do for Miss Merriweather after all. Mr. McBee left the library, but he did not go home. He walked around the neighborhood and he looked under cars. He looked behind the bushes. He looked in the backyards and the trash cans and the houses, the tree houses. Finally, he circled all the way back to the library, and the lion was sitting outside looking in through the glass doors. "Hello, lion," said Mr. McBee. The lion did not turn around. "I thought you might like to know that there's a new rule at the library. No roaring allowed unless you have a very good reason. Say, if you're trying to help a friend who's been hurt, for example." The lion's ears twitched and he turned around, but Mr. McBee was already walking away. Next day, Mr. McBee walked down the hall to Miss Merriweather's office. "What is it, Mr. McBee?" Miss Merriweather in her new, sad, quiet voice. I thought you might like to know that there's a lion in the library." Miss Merriweather jumped from her desk and she ran down the hall. Mr. McBee smiled. "No running," he said after her, but Miss Merriweather did not listen. Sometimes there was a good reason to break the rules, even in the library. So everyone was really happy to have the lion back to the library. Now, we might not have that kind of a big real lion, but we do have a nice puppet lion here. That is a lot of fun. So before we finish, I had another story, and this one is it's called "In Like a Lion and Out Like a Lamb." Now, probably some of you have heard that saying before, "In like a lion and out like a lamb," pertaining to the month of March. They say March comes in like a lion and goes out like a lamb. So I happened to find an actual story titled "In Like a Lion, Out Like a Lamb." It's by Marion Dainbauer, and the publisher, I just saw it and I forgot already, the publisher is Holiday House. So let's see what it's actually all about in Like a Lion and Out Like a Lamb. And remember, next week will be the month of March beginning. So this book fits right in with that. March comes with a roar. He rattles your windows and scratches at your door. He turns snow to mud, then tromps across your floor. March comes with winter clinging to his tail. He scatters the sleet and sometimes even hail. Were you expecting spring? He snickers. Reach for your slicker. Slicker's the raincoat. Galoshes are boots. Just a little fun fact. March comes with a pounce and a growl. Just step outside and hear him howl. If you howl back, will he go away? Not very likely. This lion means to stay and stay and stay. Then one soft morning, wind gives way to a breeze. Buds pop out of the trees. The air is full of chickadees and bumblebees. And the lion takes a whiff and a sniff and lets out an enormous sneeze. Achoo! And guess who comes riding, gliding, striding on that achoo? The lamb. So, now, where will the March lion go? Will he wander to and fro, defeated, lost, and predicting frost? Or will he sulk through the greening grass, eyes scheming, teeth gleaming, waiting for the lamb to pass? No, never. This fellow is much too clever. He finds himself a sunny spot. He stretches, he yawns, and he curls up in a knot. And that rumbling noise you hear? Never fear. The lion is done with roaring, and now he is snoring, at least until next year. Today the lamb's in charge of grass and flowers, sunshine and showers, of babies and small and large. Come, all you babies, just hear the March sing. Ba, he says, ba, she says, and ba, ba again. That means it's spring. Achoo! And out comes everything that's here for spring. Of course, when I think of the achoo in spring, it's because I have allergies and I sneeze when the flowers and things come out for spring. Anyway, I just thought you might enjoy that story, In Like a Lion and Out Like a Lamb. And what I do have here is a take and make. If you're interested, Mom or Dad could call the library, make arrangements to pick it up, or you can stop in the library, or when you're here, just ask for a take and make. And it's a puppet. Now, some of you might say, oh, well, I'm in 4th grade. I don't know if I want to make a puppet. But, hey, you can make a puppet. And like if you have younger brothers or sisters or friends or something, and even if you are in 4th grade, it'd still be fun to have a puppet. I'm not 4th grade. I'm, we won't say how old I am. But I enjoy puppets. I think they're a lot of fun. Oh, hey, Mr. Bobby, do you think puppets are fun?
Loads of fun.
Loads of fun. You can't see him, but that's Mr. Bobby. Mr. Bobby, he's great. He is the one behind the camera that makes sure all of these virtual story times are done for you to enjoy. So I like to say, thank you, Mr. Bobby.
Very welcome.
Yeah. So here's our take and make. This is the end of our story time. I hope you enjoyed it. A couple weeks we'll be back with another new story time. And remind all your friends and family and everyone that we do have virtual story times for all ages. So hope you all have a good day or good evening, whatever time you're watching this. Bye-bye to everyone. Bye-bye.